ఈరోజు మాకు చాలా సంతోషంగా ఉంది. పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ అవర్ ఫ్యామిలీ ఆఫీస్ మా జీవీకే నుంచి వీఆర్ గెటింగ్ ఇన్ టు హెల్త్ కేర్. వీవ్ ఆల్రెడీ బీన్ ఇన్ హెల్త్ కేర్ బట్ దిస్ ఫర్దర్ మోర్, and now we're getting into fertility. Now it's advanced fertility, and thank you so much for supporting. I want all of you all to come and see and spread the word around that you have world class treatment in our good old Hyderabad. అక్కడికి వెళ్ళి ఇక్కడికి వచ్చిన వాళ్ళని వాళ్ళ డిఫరెన్స్, ఐ థింక్ ఆ టెక్నాలజీ డిఫరెన్స్. ఎందుకంటే డాక్టర్స్ కూడా చెప్తున్నారు, ఎందుకంటే జాపనీస్ టెక్నాలజీ ఎక్కడ ఇండియాలో లేని ఎక్విప్మెంట్ మన దగ్గర ఉంది, టెక్నాలజీ మన దగ్గర ఉంది. ఈ బంజారా హిల్స్లో సత్వా బిల్డింగ్లో స్టార్ట్ అయిపోయింది, ఈరోజే మొదలు. సో ఓవల్ అని సత్వా బిల్డింగ్ సెకండ్ ఫ్లోర్లో. సో వీ హ్యావ్ అ వెరీ బ్యూటిఫుల్ ప్లేస్.
They came up with this idea of Oval because I went through this journey. It was a personal journey in our family, and my second child was conceived through IVF. And when I was going through this journey, it was, I think, like I said, it was a deeply personal journey. There was a gap in this industry here that we witnessed, a lack of quality, a lack of, empathy, transparency, poor ethics. And I think just a culmination of all this led me to seek this procedure elsewhere. That's my personal story. And in that journey, through a common friend, I met my co-founder, Dr. Brian. He unfortunately couldn't be here today. He fell sick. But, I met him, had a wonderful experience. And, that's when my Atma and Mama and, when we sat in a room together and we realized, why not bring the best to our country? And as you all know, they're wonderful in creating the best, be it airports, be it anything that they step into. That was their vision. Their vision was to redefine fertility care in India. And that's exactly what we've built. I keep telling everyone, you have to see the space to believe what we've built. Words cannot do justice to this space. We had a wonderful morning today where we welcomed doctors to come and see the place, and they were just in awe of what we've built. Like Atma also described, it's not a hospital, it feels like home. And as a woman who's been through this journey, what I can say is, what young couples who go through this deeply disturbing journey, it's very emotional. All we look for is support, to feel safe, to feel comfortable, and to just trust someone, right? And India is such an amazing country. We are embedded with empathy. That's our culture. And unfortunately, somewhere in this medical industry, it's getting lost with our hustle and bustle. So our goal was simple. It was not only to make an aesthetically beautiful place, but to also fill it up with people who have that and share that culture with us. To treat every guest with respect, counselor heavy. Education is very important in this industry, and being a young woman who's gone through this myself again, there's so much I didn't know when it came to about infertility, and just educating ourselves is very important. Knowing timelines for young women, again rightfully so, we're all busy with our careers and we want to extend when we want to have children. And I think more empowerment to women. It's almost like an insurance policy to freeze our eggs at a younger age. But I wish more and more of us knew about it at an earlier stage in our lives, and not when it's too late. So that's our goal. It's to spread awareness, educate ourselves, depend on counselors, therapy, and also amazing fertility doctors. So Oval is a space where we're a combination of world-class technology, leading medical expertise, and highly personalized private patient experience all under one roof. It's our sanctuary, our safe space.
Well, when I look back on my journey over the past 30 years, of which 25 years was spent in the army, I finally quit in 2019, and then finally I was picked up by Pinky ma'am and Veena ma'am and Chandra, who actually snatched me from elsewhere. The infertility is a very niche sort of a specialty, reproductive medicine as it's called nowadays. Well, it is too young. We're just about less than 5 decades into this subspecialty. The first baby was born in 1978, if you know, Louis Brown, that is. What has happened in the last 50 years is happened at a rapid pace. And when we move at a very rapid pace, we tend to lose sight of what is going to come in the immediate future. And that exactly has happened with IVF too. Well, what I mean to say here is sometimes the practices we adopt as clinicians or as organizations might not be very well studied or researched. You look at cardiology, for example, it's been around for more than 2 centuries, sorry. So a lot of papers come out which have a lot of new numbers to back it up. So somewhere during the speed of travel, we tend to lose the focus on ethical practice. That is what we want to change here. And how do we do it? As Veena ma'am actually said, we want to empower the ladies, the guests who come across to us. And this is what we call as democratization of IVF. We empower the patients, the guests, to make decisions for themselves, and we do this by educating them about every nuance of IVF per se, so that they choose, they are part of decision making. If you come across to our center, you will also realize that we have a very transparent lab. The couple or the lady, if they wish to talk to the embryologist, it can be done to a transparent window, and they can see how their oocytes, their embryos, their sperms, the gametes are being handled. Not to forget, we also have the best in class incubators. One of them is from Aztec, the first, as the video said, the first outside Japan. It shows the embryo growing from a single cell to a multicellular organism. And we have integrated artificial intelligence. So if the human eye can't actually focus on something, the AI actually tells us, well, here's a red flag. Possibly this embryo is better than this one. And when we apply AI, it ensures that the patient doesn't have to wait too much to become parents. So at Oval, it is ethics, which is our background. It is transparency, which happens to be our backbone. Scientific data. We are not going to be pressurized by industry who push for drugs or specific equipment. This will give you success. We wait for scientific papers to be published. We wait for guidelines to be established, and then we take it on as a routine. So that's in a nutshell the scientific area of Oval. And hopefully, if we set our goals on quality, I'm pretty sure numbers will follow. Another reason I think why Oval is different is, as you know, the IVF industry is actually infiltrated by too many VCs. And when VCs come in, the ROC comes in, everyone is trying to match up numbers to give. We are lucky to have promoters like Mr. Sanjay Reddy, Ms. Veena and Pinky Madam to back us.
So దీనివల్ల నెగటివ్ ఎఫెక్ట్స్ ఏమవుతాయి అంటే later on in the future generations, we'll be able to see more of the older generations, and the younger generations will find in a lesser numbers, so that the resources will get compromised. So to overcome this, whenever couples are facing any fertility issues, they'll have to get evaluated early, not wait for a longer time, and have the best expert advice, and choose a center so wisely in such a way that wherein the future of the fertility treatment has to be something technology driven, and it has to be accessible, and then it has to have novel innovations like AI, and then the fertility preservation. Ilanti services unna place lo whenever you get treated, your treatment outcomes are also going to be better, not only in terms of the fertility centers, but are also the expectations from the patient side. They are also improving in terms of they're looking for more information, they seek transparency, and then they want all their decisions taken by themselves. So with such a background, the concept of the Oval Fertility has come up, wherein the personalized treatments are all given with the patient at the center of is kept at the center of every decision,
which is going to set a different benchmark in the fertility industry. I've been here in this industry now for over a decade. In fact, when I first started my journey, and there was this interview call which came from one of the leading companies saying, what? We were at that time already the second largest populated country in the world. He said, who needs fertility? Why would you need fertility? Then as I kept going, and now we are the largest populated nation already. We beat China quite some time back. But as Kirtan rightly pointed out, the total fertility rate is falling across the country. And over a period of time, we'll have much older generations and younger generation will not be there to replace. Take the example of Japan now, with the high quality of medical care being given, and it is one of the oldest nations in the world. So then I realized that this is a sphere where it gives joy. I know when you see a patient walking in with despair that I cannot become a parent for a longer time, and 9 months you treat them, and 9-10 months they come with a bundle of joy in their hands. It gives you goosebumps. That's the best reward that you can have to being in the industry. Not taking much longer time. Thank you once again.
It gives me immense pleasure to welcome each one of you all today for our press meet of Oval. And as you know, we at GVK, we always believe that healthcare is one of the most meaningful sectors where we can make a lasting difference. When we looked at fertility care, we saw an opportunity to supporting something deeply personal. And I think you will get to know more about it, why we got into it. So that's next step. And what is important is today it's really the need of the hour. Post-COVID, I think girls getting married late because of careers, for whatever reasons, all the modern lifestyles. So I think, fertility is really a need at present. The journey to parenthood can be emotional and challenging for many individuals and couples. That is why fertility care must be beyond clinical excellence. It must be rooted in empathy, trust, transparency, and patient-centric care. These are the values on which Oval Fertility has been built. What gives us confidence is the strength of the team, the expertise of the doctors, and the commitment to delivering the highest standards of care while leveraging advanced technology to improve outcomes. So I must tell you, I would love to invite each one of you all to come, and you will be seeing our sanctuary. We call it our sanctuary now when we release it. But later, we would love to invite each one of you all to come to Oval and see it yourself, that it doesn't feel like a clinic, it feels more like home, which is very important. Our vision is simple: to create a place where science and sensitivity work hand in hand, and where every patient feels supported throughout their journey. We do not call them a patient, we call them our guest. We make them feel at home. We don't want them to feel intimidated. That is our core agenda of our Oval family.